I want us to have a look at a story that is still developing on the ongoing protests and the secret meeting between State House and some media houses. Cyprian Nyakundi, there are reports that senior media executives met with State House officials and agreed to halt live broadcasting of protests. Instead, they will cover them only in news segments, filter images, and reduce coverage of Gen Z protests. This information was leaked to me by an attendee of the meeting. In return, the government will reconsider advertising with these media outlets, a privilege currently enjoyed exclusively by the state-affiliated Star newspaper. Additionally, there are plans to revoke the operating permits of foreign journalists who cover the protest in the wrong way. That Cyprian is Nyakundi. Nyakundi is exposing that somebody who attended that meeting at State House leaked this information to him. So the government has entered into a deal with the media executives not to broadcast Gen Z protests. And from what we have seen in the past 2 or 3 days, we've not been seeing media broadcasting live these Gen Z protests. And even yesterday, there were protests in Nairobi. The mainstream media never broadcasted them live. On Tuesday, there were also Gen Z protests. The media failed to cover them live. So it's actually true what Cyprian is reporting. There was a deal at State House, Nairobi. These live broadcasts should not be shown to Kenyans. And the gain is that the government will now advertise with these media houses. So the media has clearly been pocketed, parliament pocketed, judiciary pocketed. Kenyans are on their own. I want us to dig deep into this for Kenyans to understand what all this means. If you are watching us but you have not yet subscribed, subscribe, give the video a like. Let's proceed. Let's have a look on how Kenyans reacted to that information before we dig deep. Chokosh, it was evident on Tuesday, Wangui Macharia, everything in this country need para cleansing. Gladiator in jeans explains why media houses like Citizen filtered their news to only capture news of those Kenyans who celebrated the appointments. Dennis Katis, nice. So they want to try and revoke Larry Madowo's media license? Let's see. The Dragon, so they all joined the government to go against evolution. We know the enemy. Robinson, thanks we have X journalism. Legacy media is dead. Live stream on X directly from your phone. Kiragu Maina, even the bulk of information spreads through TikTok, X, and WhatsApp. Let the traditional media deal with the declining viewership. What a joke. MVI, when such things happen, the government is usually planning to use excessive force. Mr. Page, we will cover for ourselves. Engineer Nyasikera, journalists are no longer the messengers. They work for the oppressor. Mwitu, that's where citizen journalism comes in. Those are some reactions from Kenyans. What's actually happening here, ladies and gentlemen? It's very clear that the media in Kenya has allowed itself to be sold to fear. Ruto threatened them a few days ago, and it appears they have easily bought William Ruto's threats, intimidations. So the media is now in government's pockets. And most definitely, they'll be reporting very cautiously, not to annoy the government. That means Kenyans are on their own. That move confirms William Ruto's government is becoming more dictatorial as they settle in power. And the only way Kenyans can beat Ruto into that is by Kenyans saying no. Kenya should not buy these threats coming from the government. William Ruto should be told that you cannot silence a hungry people. The hunger in them will make them shout. So even though the media has been compromised, that does not mean Kenyans will not be complaining. They will still be complaining through X, through WhatsApp, through TikTok. And that only means that the sentiments against the government will be more intense. We know that with the social media, there are sometimes misinformation, and it's always against the government. So if they try to block the mainstream media, then eventually it's the government that will lose because there will be a lot of misinformation from Kenyans. So the government again will lose. And also, Kenyans will no longer trust the mainstream media. They'll be seen as an extension of the executive. Yes, they'll be seen as being part of the oppressive executive. That means media houses, their viewership will come down, and sooner than later, we'll see some closing shop. Media house has been booming because of Kenyans. If they don't want to report what Kenyans want them to report, it's clear they will lose their viewership, and that will be very bad for their existence. And again, from that new development, all the systems in Kenya are rotten. The only remaining institution that Kenyans had hopes in was only the media. But now, with this kind of censorship, it's clear there is a lot of work to be done. Kenyans still have a lot of work to do. And also, from that, I'm seeing a Kenya Kwanza government that is panicking. They know the ground is very bad, very hostile, so they are panicking. And as they panic, they channel their anger to the media. So again, this is a government that is clearly panicking. And that will not stop Kenyans again from still demanding for their rights. Above all, from all this, it's coming out very clearly that William Ruto is not listening to Kenyans. And that's why in most of my videos I keep on repeating, he's destined for destruction. He's not listening to Kenyans. At least if the media houses were airing what Kenyans are saying, William Ruto could see and he could make amends. But with this censorship, it's very clear he's headed for destruction. And again, it's almost certain and very clear that sikio la kufa halisikii dawa. Ruto is not listening. Let me stop it there, ladies and gentlemen. If you are watching us but you have not yet subscribed, subscribe, give the video a like. Any person watching us outside Kenya, drop a comment, let us know from which part of the globe you are watching us from. If possible, subscribe, give the video a like. That secret meeting at State House confirms beyond any reasonable doubt that William Ruto is hell-bent on installing himself as a total president, a dictator. So he's just trying to borrow from our neighbor, Yoweri Museveni. That will fail very badly. Kenyans are still hungry and they will still be making noise. Let's meet in our next analysis. Thank you.